Okay, so let's talk about the Keystone Clash. It's been a few days since I got back. Took some time for it all to sink in. I'm not still bubbling in the excitement of being there, or the negative stuff of having to leave and all that. So time to reflect. And I've thought about how I wanted to do this, and I decided to just stop where I am and drop it, be honest about everything, and let you all determine. You're going to see a lot of videos out. There's already been a lot of videos out. I want to put some out also, going through the different things. People were live streaming there. A lot of information out about the Keystone Clash. So I don't need to tell you how good it was, how bad it was, or anything like that. You can see that. The best way to tell for yourself is to go to one of the events, and you'll be able to see for yourself. So let's start before the event ever happened. What got me to go to the Keystone Clash? Well, there was a lot of talk last year about the Keystone Clash and how great it was going to be and all this kind of stuff. And people were asking me to go to last year's Keystone Clash, to 2022's Keystone Clash. And it just wasn't in the schedule for me. I was already doing other events and didn't have the available time, resources, and stuff to make that event. So last April, 2022's April, a few people contacted me, wanted me to specifically go, and I said, okay, I can't go in 2022, but 2023, it's going to be on my list. You all have asked me so many times. It's going to be one of the top things on my list. So at that point, I was already planning on going to Keystone Clash 2023, and it hadn't even happened in 2022. And I was excited about it. Everybody talking about how great it was and how awesome it is. I saw videos of 2022s. I was telling everybody, hey, I'll be at 2023. You ought to come too. It's been great seeing all the videos and everything. And, promoting it every chance I could get. Going to people's live streams, and I would mention Keystone Clash. Even if they weren't even talking about Keystone Clash, I'd bring it up just to get the conversation kind of swaying that way. Trying to get as many people there as I could. And so when the registration and everything came out for the Keystone Clash for 2023, they had a special package for YouTubers that you get a discount for promoting it. And so basically you're getting paid to advertise for them. And I did that. I'm like, sure, I've been promoting Keystone Clash already. No big deal. And looking back, I honestly don't think, if I'd known now known then what I know now, and looking back at reflecting on everything, I don't know that I would have done it, because it made me feel fake. I enjoyed the Keystone Clash, don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm talking about. But the fact that I was receiving compensation to promote something that I hadn't experienced, to talk about how great the Keystone Clash is and how much fun it is and all of that, and I'm getting a compensation for that when I had never been yet. And everybody was, all the YouTubers were talking about Keystone Clash and how great it is and how awesome it's going to be and all that. And it got me thinking also, a number of these people are talking about it and they haven't been either. And I want to be more real about, if I talk about how great something is, I want to have experienced it and know that it's great. Because for all I saw the videos and the different fish tubers talking about it and stuff, and I'm sure that, they would be honest about it and everything. But I don't know. I hadn't been. For all I know, I could have went and it been the most horrible thing in the world. And here I was for a year talking about how great it was. And then another thing with that is, some of the YouTubers signed up in January and got the same discount as somebody that signed up in July and had different requirements. Got the same discount with different requirements of what they needed to do to get those requirements or to get those discounts. So I'm not sure I get that they want the promotion, and I'm not sure that was, for me, the best way for it to have been done, in my opinion. Because there were people that were promoting it that hadn't been to it, people that were promoting it that didn't go, people that did go that didn't promote it, all over the place. And anyways, we'll move on to the next thing. They had a early bird registration. If you sign up early, you get a discount on it. I was excited to go. I knew it was already on my schedule, already had time booked off at work, had money set aside to go to the Clash. And so midnight, January 1st, I think it was, whenever it opened up, available, I got on there and registered right then. I didn't realize that the early bird thing, you had to go look for a code and put the code in and all that. I thought it was like all the other conventions I'd been to. The early bird thing automatically applies based on a date, that after a certain date, the early bird discount doesn't apply anymore. So no, I didn't get the early bird discount, and it is what it is. Pricing for the convention. I've been to other conventions. This one was the most expensive one out of all of them that I've looked at and been to. And I understand it's a fundraising event. You're raising money for the aquarium clubs. I'm all about that. I believe in giving to your aquarium clubs because they give back so much to the community and to the hobby. So I'm okay with it being the most expensive convention, fish show, whatever you want to call it, because it makes sense. Let's see, the trip there. It was a bit of a drive. I had some technical difficulties with interstates being closed and rerouting and all that. It took a long detour through the hills of West Virginia. Beautiful countryside. Some nervousness in driving. I'm used to hills and mountain driving, but I wasn't used to the roads. Moving on to the Clash, get there quite a bit later than what I had planned. We got there at around 8 o'clock Thursday night. The plan was to get there at 3 in the afternoon on Thursday. And walked in and immediately saw some of the fish tubers up at the restaurants or the hotels bar and grill. There was a couple of YouTubers standing out front smoking and stuff, and some of them didn't recognize me and some of them did, and that's understandable. And I noticed some of them had their little tags where they had already checked in for the convention and for the Clash, and I'd seen on the schedule that check-in didn't start till 8, and it was a little before 8, so I thought, well, maybe they just opened up a little early. And so I asked around because I didn't see signs that says Keystone Clash this way, check in this way or anything like that. So I asked a couple of them, are they already doing it? Where can I go find it? And I guess I got there about 7:30 or so, because I had time to take all the luggage to the room, get all that settled, come back down, and went through and found the check-in booth, and went ahead and checked in and got my goodie bag and lanyard and stuff, and went back up and sat down with the folks at the restaurant. It's like a bar grill restaurant type thing in the hotel, and just hung out with them for a while. The next day, got up, and stuff was starting at around 9, so I was up around 8. Went down there to see what was going on, and I'm used to going to conventions and stuff where they've got big banners up, 6-foot banners saying this room for this, or this is the schedule of stuff, or promoting a something, a charity, something that they're working on, something, big banners and stuff pointing you which way to go. And I didn't see that. I saw maybe a couple little 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17 little signs on tables, and when people was walking back and forth and you got that little sign there, I didn't stop to look at them because I want to keep moving, and the bigger banners would give better direction of what you're trying to say. And again, all this is just my opinion, so that would be something I'd like to see in the future. Larger banners directing people to where to go, or who the speakers are, or even if you're trying to give money to this fund or that fund, or promoting the Carnivorous Plant Society was there, promoting them or something. Let's see. So talking about speakers, so we'll go ahead and move into that. It was awesome to see them bring in more YouTuber presence for the speakers. All but one of the speakers has a presence on YouTube. That's their primary outlet, I guess, that they're known for, being on YouTube. And so I think that they were trying to appeal to a more general public, bringing YouTubers to speak. One of the speakers wasn't, as far as I know, wasn't a big YouTuber. That's the primary thing, and that's awesome. I would have loved to have seen a more split with the YouTubers, the popular people, and the more let's say scientific, nationally renowned type speakers. Because some of the YouTubers, and nothing against the YouTubers or anything like that, because they're all great people, they gave great talks, but some of them have been in the hobby for 2 years or 5 years or something like that, where some of the nationally renowned speakers might have 30 or 50 years in the hobby, and quite a bit more experience. And I think if this specific YouTuber is talking about, I don't know, this fish that he keeps, well, he's got videos talking about the exact same fish that he keeps, and I could see that anytime. But bringing in one of these other speakers, more the scientific speakers, whatever you want to call them, that doesn't have the YouTube channels, that don't put their stuff out on YouTube. Bringing one of those in to talk about how they went to Papua New Guinea to discover the new rainbow fish or whatever. In my opinion, that adds more value to the convention, that if I want to see this talk, I have to go to that convention. I have to be at that speaker at his presentation. But if I want to see how this YouTuber bags fish up to ship, oh, he's got 3 videos on that. I don't have to go to the Clash. I can just watch the videos. Just my opinion again. That would be something that I would see that would strengthen it. But all the talks were great. They had panel talks where they had multiple people all on a panel and asked questions, and they answered them and that stuff. But let's go back to, Friday morning, going in, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to go see the vendor room. I wanted to see the showroom. I want to see the fish on display. Get there and go into the vendor room, and first thing that I noticed, just like the first thing that many people noticed when they went in, was the temperature. It was really warm, and I'm used to my fish room being 77 degrees, and this felt quite a bit warmer. And it was a bit of a surprise to me. It was, I'm guessing that they did that for the fish. The tropical fish need the warmer temperatures, the upper 70s. But it made it not so comfortable for the humans in the area. A lot of the vendors, I heard them mention about how much they were sweating. Some of them were complaining about they were there to sell axolotls or goldfish or whatever, and it was not good for their product, for their livestock. Which, the Clash advertises itself as an all-species event, and it makes it difficult whenever you're keeping your rooms that warm to cater to the cooler water species. And the showroom, when I went to it, was the same way. It was really warm, and they had goldfish and loaches and barbs and godiads and axolotls all in the show that weren't taking too well to the warm room temperature. But we'll go back to the vendor room. It was set up really nice. They had booths with, I think it was like 3 aisleways, a wide variety of stuff. I'll have a video coming out where I go through and show that, and I'm thinking about doing a video to explain more about the vendor rooms and things that popped out to me about each individual setup and the styles of setup. So the vendor room was great. I went there with the intention of not buying fish because it was such a long drive, and I'm trying to cut down a little bit, trying to focus in on stuff. But I saw some stuff that I liked. There wasn't a lot of species that appealed to me there. There was a variety of different plecos. There was quite a few of different types of plecos. The rare plecos. There was a lot of betas. And cichlids. South American, African, some Central American cichlids. And there were some shrimp. Some real neat displays. Some that weren't as fancy as others. The only large company that I saw, like manufacturer, distributor type company there that I saw, was API. I wish that they had more representation of stuff like cobalt, sea chem, fluval, the the larger brands. That would have been nice. I understand it's focused more on the hobby or the hobbyist level, but it was nice to see. It is nice to see the manufacturers and distributors of the products that we use every day being there and getting to talk to them. I did end up buying some stuff. And then I went to the showroom, and it wasn't quite set up yet. The fish weren't in it yet. Some were, some weren't. And they had some tables set up to the side, so that was kind of confusing. We ended up using that to eat at later, and sometimes to hang around and just to sit down. Not sure what the tables were really there for, because there wasn't like signage or anything to say this is the rest area or something. Behind a curtain in the back of the showroom, they had the aquascaping contest area, and so it was hidden. Later, after they were a little while into the competition, they opened the curtains up, but it was still kind of hidden in the back. So I wish that was out in the open more. But I guess it gave the aquascapers more room to move around and stuff. They had a curtained off area in the back also for presentations and stuff like that. They did the panel chats in there, and the carnivorous plant talks were in there. So that was Friday. Kind of did that type of stuff. Saturday, went back down. Friday night, I think it was Friday night, went out with some other YouTubers. We all went out and ate, had a good meal together, had a lot of talk, a lot of nice conversation. And I guess Friday night was the night that we went to the hospitality room, hung out in there. And I don't know if it was a joke, playing around or whatever, but the people guarding the door was really strict about seeing your badge and making sure you're allowed in here and stuff. Maybe it was because of the trouble they had last year. It was a little off-putting, but I understand, some people didn't pay for it, so they shouldn't take advantage of it. And as far as guarding the door, there was a little miscommunication or something going on with the presentations, that if you weren't in there by the time that it was scheduled to start, they would shut the door and lock them, or it automatically locked when it shut, or something. And some people were actually told, hey, if you're not in by a certain time, you're locked out. And that was a bit of a problem in the beginning, but they got it figured out or something, because later the doors were open the whole presentation. And I'm the type that I think if you're paying for the presentation, even if you're a minute late or whatever, you should get to go in. Because if you got to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the presentation, then you're locked out. I'm glad they got that figured out. I heard some of the speakers talking about that they weren't happy about that, and some of the staff not so happy about that. But they got that worked out, so I'm glad about that. Hanging out with the YouTubers was great. Hanging out with people in the hospitality room. I went to bed late Friday night. Got up around 8 again Saturday. Surprised to see people that were up late last night were streaming at 7 a.m. Hey, more power to you. Saturday, I think Saturday's when the aquascaping contest was, and I was hanging out in there, going to the vendor room again. All the fish were in the tank for the show. Was checking those out, and I spent quite a bit of time looking for other YouTubers to hang out with. There was a lot of us there. There was a lot of them that I didn't see. I may have passed by some that I didn't recognize because sometimes people look a little different when they're not on the little screen. So events I've been to before, we'd all hang out outside by the fire pit or in the lobby or around a display tank. But this time it seemed like I'd go to the tables in the showroom and they'd be sitting there, and then I'd go do something and come back and nobody's there. And I'd find them up in the lobby all sitting around. And then I'd leave to go do something or whatever and come back and nobody's in the lobby. They're outside or they're standing by the elevator, and it made it difficult to network and hang out with the YouTubers that I wanted to hang out with. I found out a couple days after the clash was over that there was a group photo that a lot of people didn't know about. A lot of YouTubers there that I didn't get a chance to see because they were here or there or all over the place. There was a karaoke thing going on that I didn't know about either. So I think, it would have been nice if there was a YouTube booth, even just like out in the hallway, a place for the YouTubers to be, and then that could be promoted that, come up and meet your favorite YouTuber, and it could promote the YouTube channels that are there, and give the other YouTubers, hey, you want to meet up with so and so? We're all going to be at this YouTube booth. And then we could have our agenda there of, hey, at 7 o'clock we're going out to eat, and 8 o'clock we're going to have a photo, and 9 o'clock we're doing karaoke. But it was cool to see all the YouTubers that I did get to meet. I wish I have thought ahead enough to take stickers. I'm horrible about that. I'm horrible about making videos. I'm horrible about taking stickers. I'm horrible about, promoting my stuff. But yeah, it was still fun. And got to meet some fish tubers I hadn't met in person before. Got to exchange some numbers with some. Then Saturday night was the awards ceremony and the raffle drawings. And I went to that, and when I got there, the doors weren't locked, so that's a good thing. So like me and Bentley Pasco and a few of us were standing around outside the room because there wasn't enough room to get in the room. It was packed like sardines in there. And their sound system wasn't working that great. So you kind of had to listen because everybody's kind of talking, and the sound system's not working that great, and they're drawing raffle tickets and they're giving awards out. So a few of us that were standing back there was like, oh, we can't really see or hear what's going on anyways. So I didn't stay for that. Sunday was the auction. It was in that same room, but I got there extra early, and I got to look through the stuff and went up front so I could be close to bid on stuff. Even though I said I wasn't buying anything, I still did. But that was a great time. And didn't see anybody else for the rest of the day. I knew everybody was leaving until, after I went out for dinner that night, came back, and there the fish tubers were in the lobby again. So I hung out with them for a little while. And then left out bright and early Monday to head home. The best part of the clash, I think, for me, was hanging out with people. Getting to talk to the vendors, and getting to talk to the other YouTubers, and then the local people there. Everybody was great. I didn't come across one person with a sour attitude or anything. Getting to see some of the products that some of these vendors had was awesome. I'm looking forward to trying some of the stuff that I bought. Got some new species of fish. and the vendor room was amazing. The people I met was amazing. The fish show, I loved that everything was displayed, and that whenever they judged, they put the ribbons on the tank. So even though I couldn't make it to the award ceremony, I could walk by and say, "Oh, that's Steve's fish. He got first place. That's awesome." And the excitement in everyone that, I saw people walk up and they noticed that this fish had a blue ribbon. So they're on the phone texting, or they run off to tell somebody, "Hey, your fish got first place," or whatever. So that was wild seeing that. I missed the kidscaping contest. I saw the stuff set up for it, didn't know when it was happening, came back and it was all gone. So I missed that somewhere along the route. It was cool to see the carnivorous plants there. I would have never thought that'd be in a tie-in with the fish, but it was great to see that. I wish there was more of that type of stuff. Carnivorous plants and the house plants and that type of stuff, because they do connect with the fish. So that was awesome. And yeah, it was a great time. I loved the going. I loved the vendor room. The aquascaping contest was great. It did last forever. It seemed like it was like a 6-hour scaping contest. The whole thing was awesome, and I hope it keeps growing. I hope it keeps improving, and I don't want this video to come across as a negative about the Clash, because it wasn't negative at all. I just mentioned a few things of this is how it was. I wish it was a little like this. I wish it was a little like that, because everybody else is going to talk about how awesome it was and bubbly and all that, and it was good. It was awesome. But having put on events myself, I know that there's always room for improvement, and hopefully me mentioning some of these things, one of these ideas will spark an idea in someone that will make improvements and make it even better next year and better than the year after that. And I'm hoping to get to go in 2024. The dates have changed on when they're having it, and it's not lining up perfect with things at work that I'd have to ask for a special leave, basically, to get to go, and I'm allowed so many of those in a certain frame time, and I've already used what I'm allowed. So we will see if I get to make it or not. This has been a long video, and I didn't mean for it to be this long. So I'll just go ahead and leave your comments about the Clash, and down below, if you got to go, what you thought about the videos. If you have questions about it, put them down below, and I'll answer the best that I know. And I'm hoping that the crew up there in Pennsylvania that put this thing on, that they keep making it better and better and better every year, because it goes to benefit the clubs, which is a great what's the word I'm looking for? A great cause to promote, and it gets people together, promotes the hobby. It's just a great thing altogether, and it's a really good time. So leave your comments below. Stay tuned, watching for my videos where I go through the Clash videos that I took in more detail, talk about different things, and we'll see you next time.